All right, this is a follow-up video to seeing the world in your favor. You know what I'm saying? And this can be very tough. Don't get me wrong, especially if you've had a bunch of negative experiences and situations and things happen to you growing up. You could be like, how the fuck is that in my favor? You know, your ego is ready to already attack me 20 seconds into the video. But just watch that video and then just listen to this one and be open to understanding what I'm trying to say. Because I've been through some of those same things you've been through, and we don't compare traumas. But what I'm just trying to say is one of the ways to transmute the energy and take it so it serves you in a positive manner is looking at what happened as in your favor to help set you up for something greater. You know what I'm saying? I used to worry a lot. Like, even when I was in college and stuff, I used to be so worried about what I was going to do. You know, I knew I wanted to be a photographer or a videographer. I knew like what I wanted to do. I just didn't know how I was going to get there. I never saw myself as an intellectual or anything like that. You know, I'm a nigga who's like coming from the resource room. You know, I'm coming from having that extra teacher help, coming from like taking the little bus and shit. I never just saw myself as somebody who would be able to like fit in to the regular world just because of that. Forget being like a mystic and spiritual and having all this knowledge or whatever. I'm just talking about just for those reasons. But being a resource room nigga, being a little slower than the other kids and stuff like that, that's been one of the biggest things to help me right now. I wouldn't even be able to make these videos, half of these videos, if that wasn't a thing. Because I was almost shielded from the knowledge that you get in school. So that when I was ready, I could get this knowledge that I have now and I'm still gaining. And it's the real knowledge, and it's knowledge that's actually useful. You know what I'm saying? I don't know too much about what was taught in school. Sometimes if you hear me talk, I may not be able to formulate my sentences the greatest. You know, I may not be able to spell the greatest. And this used to be something that really plagued my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I used to work at Apple and I used to have to present and have to like read out loud. Like, I used to feel crazy because there'd be like 100 people on the call listening to you. And I would be like so nervous because I know I'm just fucking up all these big words. And I used to really be worried about that. Like what the fuck? Like, what I'm gonna do? I'm just like a little retarded nigga out here. You know what I'm saying? How I'm gonna fit into society and shit, and how I'm gonna get shit done. But that's been one of my biggest, I don't like to use the word blessings, but that's been one of the biggest things that's great for me. Because when I was in school, I couldn't focus on all that stuff they was teaching. So I never learned the fake history. So now when I study the real history, it comes easier to me. There's no blockage. There's no nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that has been great. You know, that's amazing now. Like, I love the fact that happened for me. I love the fact that I was in the resource room. I love the fact that, you know, I wasn't the brightest kid and didn't have no 4.0. When I was in college, I had like in high school, I had like a 1 point something GPA. You know what I'm saying? And I love that for me, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to be here right now. And that's all about acceptance. You know, but a couple years ago, that shit used to plague my mind like a motherfucker. Like, what the fuck I'm gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Not smart enough, not intelligent enough. And that's great, because all that means is that I'm not smart enough to be a part of a system or a society or a culture that doesn't serve me in a positive manner. You know, so that's great. I wanted to be a cameraman, I mentioned that, and I wanted to be a videographer, but I never put my best foot forward because I had too much internal insecurities that I let people project on me. So the whole time I wanted to be a cameraman and stuff. When I was in high school, I already had a lot of success with it. Like, I done had pictures that I won awards for, that was like presented in museums and shit. You know, I done wrote articles that got published before I even graduated high school. You know what I'm saying? Even with my 1.67 GPA, I was offered to go to UConn. I was offered to go to universities. They was like, man, we gonna sneak you in. You know what I'm saying? We see the potential in you as a journalist, and we gonna get you in that motherfucker like you an athlete or something. Don't worry about it. And I never went through with it. I had no interest in it. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't believe in myself. Like, I done been speaking to like HBO producers and big time people, because my school was connected with that. I would they would be so interested in me, and I wouldn't give a fuck, because I didn't see myself in that type of light. I didn't see that type of world for me. As much as I dreamed about it, I never put my best foot forward to line up with what I was dreaming. It's like, yeah, I want to be on HBO. Yeah, I want to be a director. But when the HBO lady is there, it's like I'm being all nonchalant. That's that subconscious shit that you got to work on. You know what I'm saying? Because opportunities will be right in front of you. It'll just be letting them pass by. So me never making it as a photographer, never putting my best foot forward, me never making it as a videographer, it's great. Because if I did, I wouldn't be doing this. And this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? All of my traumas, you know, growing up in the hood, and most of your friends is like crack babies. Most of most of the people I'm going to school with, by the time we in like, I think the first time I seen somebody selling drugs was like 4th grade. I almost said his name and I would have been snitching. So good thing I caught myself. First time I seen somebody like selling drugs was like 4th grade. Imagine you 10 years old and somebody put some crack and some weed in your hand and told you to go make money. I remember he brought the weed to school and he was showing us, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, yeah, man, I'm official now. I'm out here. I'll be on the block. We was in 4th grade. Do you know how young that is? Can you understand that? You know, being in the house and you living with rats and roaches and shit, all this shit make you devalue yourself. And all of this used to plague my mind, used to make me look at myself as less than, as lower. You know what I'm saying? All those trials and tribulations of being in the hood. I could tell stories for days. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's a part of things that I have to work on the most because my ego is still adjusting to not having to protect itself 24/7. You know what I'm saying? So even when new people who come with love and friendly energy come around, I'm still learning to like, oh, this is not a gunman. This woman isn't trying to set me up or scare me or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm still learning to relax. You know what I'm saying? The stories I could tell could go on for days, and everybody has these same stories. And this used to plague my mind as well, because I have a lot of cousins who live in the suburbs. I have a lot of friends, because once I eventually moved to a nicer neighborhood when I was in college, I have a lot of friends who grew up well off. And I used to be like, man, why not me? You know, why couldn't I grow up like that? Why couldn't I live like that? Why couldn't I be in the house with the loving parents and not the people throwing the pots and pans and fighting and trying to kill each other and stuff? Why couldn't I experience that? But all of that stuff is what gave me wisdom and helped me with understanding just to help me do this. My level of understanding is higher than the average person because of what I've seen. You know what I'm saying? It gives me more patience. I wouldn't even be able to have clients and stuff like that if it wasn't for that. It's these experiences that made me. So it's like I needed that. If I never went through that stuff, I wouldn't be the person who I am. I needed it. All of the abuse, all of the trauma, all the verbal abuse and stuff like that. Overcoming that is like the anime character in training. You know what I'm saying? And as I overcome that, like I just talked about, releasing my ego and putting that shield down and, you know, recognizing that not everybody's trying to attack me and stuff like that anymore. As you overcome that, you just become more powerful. So in a sense, it's like I'm not going to lie and say I'd want to relive that trauma again. I wouldn't want to go through the abuse. I wouldn't want to be touched and stuff and all of that again. But it was needed because of what makes me who I am. It just set me up to be here. It set me up that I could talk to somebody who went through the same thing and have a mutual understanding. I wouldn't have been able to do none of this. I don't know what I would be doing. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about with seeing things in your favor. Like the life that we're in is all set up for us to do something. And the trials and tribulations that we go through, you know, it depending on how you transmute the energy is how it's going to affect your life. You know what I'm saying? And even some of the most roughest stuff, you know, like the sexual abuse and stuff like that. Sometimes I look at it like, you know, maybe I just had to go through that so I can help other people who went through it. And maybe I'll be a sacrifice for thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions or whatever. And maybe that's just my way of rationalizing it or whatever, but I'm just trying to find a positive way to transmute the energy. You know what I'm saying? So even something of the most harshest stuff, you know, they're all in my favor. Because I wouldn't be able to make this video if it wasn't for that. You know, one last thing to use as an example. For a while, I used to have like a negative affinity or like a negative view on being Jamaican, you know, and I never liked it because it just comes with so much trauma. Like I don't go to Jamaican clubs. I didn't listen to Jamaican music. I still don't even listen to new Jamaican music. You can't get me to listen to anything past like 2012 or 2009 or whatever. I don't date Jamaican women. I have Jamaican friends, but they're like Americanized. Like I just stay far away from it because the memories and thoughts of that just come with trauma. It just comes with always being verbally or physically abused. That's all I can really associate it with, you know what I'm saying? But even that, I start to find more appreciation of, especially as I start to do Ancestry and start to get into who we are, whatever. Jamaica might be the most popular island in the whole world. So to even have an ancestral connection to the indigenous people there is amazing. You know what I'm saying? We've given a lot to the whole world, you know, and we talk about what's been going on in the last 500 years. We were a major power player. You know, I look at it like I get to come from a rich history and a rich culture that has influenced the whole world. Most of the New York rappers are Jamaican. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z is Jamaican. Biggie is Jamaican. It's like, I start looking at it like, damn, you know, we some powerful motherfuckers, you know, we some powerful people. Jamaicans descend from the Twa people, who was like the root race, one of the first motherfuckers walking around here. You know what I'm saying? So I start looking at it like, damn, I'm coming from, it's like, yeah, you know, we might have been fucked up in the last few hundred years like all the other melanated people in the world because of what's been happening to us. But shit, look at all that I come from. It's definitely worth it. Because all that I come from is just in my DNA. So again, it's like being incarnated in this Jamaican family is definitely positive. It also helps me break a lot of spells. You know what I'm saying? And I'll talk about that in another video. But it helps me break a lot of spells because Jamaican history and traditional North American black history is completely different. So all the stories that they tell in school don't have nothing to do with me. So if I wasn't Jamaican, again, you know, if I wasn't Jamaican, I wouldn't be able to break that spell right there. And these are just 4 examples that I use that I flipped and start to look at how they have shaped my life to be in my favor. And I want you to be listening to what I'm saying, and hopefully you can do the same. I'm telling you, even the hardest things, you have to find a way to transmute that energy because it currently doesn't serve you in a positive manner. You know what I'm saying? I could go on days for days, and maybe in other videos I will little by little, but I've experienced it. I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes being robbed and stuff like that ain't even as bad as watching somebody get robbed and looking at them cry and shit like that. I've seen it. You know, I've been through it. But it's what made me. You know? And I'm proud to say, like, it's like, I don't want to say like I love it because those things were horrible, but I'm kind of glad that they happened because I wouldn't be able to make this video. I wouldn't be able to help people. You know what I'm saying? And my page, my channel, the person I am, what I want to do, I'm not even there yet. But even now, you know, people reach out to me all the time and they'll tell me like, you know, thanks for making that. You know, this video helped. You know, this changed my perspective. And this is the only reason why I do it. Just to help other people. You know what I'm saying? Help them with what I've been through. So if I never went through it, I wouldn't be able to help nobody. And that's just how I look at it. And we might not have the same reasons, or you may not be able to transmute the energy in that way, but you got to find a way to flip and start looking at things in your favor. Look at everything in your favor. You get a flat tire today, how is that in your favor? You get into a car accident, how is that in your favor? You know what I'm saying? Something bad happened, it could be traumatic as like a miscarriage or something, but how is that in your favor? You know, this may be hard to hear. You know, that's why I'm sharing what some of the experiences that happened to me, so it don't just sound like I'm telling you like, oh, you know, somebody smacked the shit out of you, just start smiling and stuff. Like, oh yeah, that was great, I was getting shit smacked out of me. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say how all of those events could have been something to lead you to something greater. Are you open to that? Are you open to all the things that happened to you to be possibly leading you to something greater? Did it happen to you for a reason so that you could be doing X, Y, and Z? You know what I'm saying? It's all about how you look at it. That's why you got to get out of the victim mentality. It's like, it's either you want to continue to be a victim or you want to take back your power and look at yourself like royalty. The choice is yours. You know, this is your life and how you want to live it. I'm deciding to transmute the energy. I'm deciding to look at what happened to me and flip it around. You know what I'm saying? So you do the same. It's up to you. It's up to you if you want to do the same. But that's just how I'm choosing to do things. You know, so I hope this video helps. I don't want to pretend like it's been easy. It's definitely been stubborn. It definitely takes a lot of healing. Like, I'll make more videos to touch on that, how I've gotten to this point, but it's definitely necessary. And it's like, I can see now. I can see how everything is like a movie, and it's just been leading me up to be doing stuff like making this video right now. And I want you to be able to do the same with the things that have happened to you, where you're supposed to be, your purpose, all of that, and where you're trying to go in life. so that all the energy, all that stuff serves you in a positive manner. That's just what it's about. And yeah, that's basically it.